Dear members of the Diplomatic Club of Geneva, dear friends of the International Geneva, it's a great pleasure and privilege to welcome you tonight here at the Fédération Romande des Entrepreneurs to celebrate our traditional diplomatic New Year. Unfortunately, as you know, we have to do it virtually due to the current situation. But we were very eager to maintain this event, this tradition, and also to do it at this very location, at the Fédération des Entreprises Romandes, with this beautiful background, the city of Geneva. So first of all, thank you to our host, Blaise Matthey, Director of the Fédération Romande des Entrepreneurs. It is also for me the opportunity to thank you very much for your loyalty throughout 2020, which has been very challenging in many ways for all of us. And on behalf of the Executive Committee of the Diplomatic Club of Geneva, I wish you, to your dear ones, to your loved ones, a happy and healthy 2021. And of course, I would like to thank my guests and our partners for their invaluable support to our activity and also for your presence tonight. First to you, Director General, to be here, Tatiana Valovaya. To you, Sami, Kanan, Mayor of Geneva. To you, Marc Pictet, President of the Fondation pour Genève. And finally, to our host, Blaise Matthey. We will start with short statement, starting our guest tonight, Blaise Matthey. Please, Blaise, you have the floor.
Thank you, Raymond. Thank you, President, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends. It's a bit different this year. We cannot welcome you with those cocktails that we offer usually. Unfortunately, it would be this year a cocktail of speeches. These unprecedented times oblige us to stay connected in a different manner. Past year has showed us how important it is to maintain personal and professional relationships in order to address the many challenges that we face with the pandemic. We are continuously redefining our priorities. We close and open borders. We close and open restaurants. We close and open shops. And now we reclose them. We must continue to support each other and foster cooperation and collaboration to overcome this situation, which is very difficult for many people and for many businesses, not only in Geneva, but around the world. We put our hope in the vaccine to restart a normal life, but we all know that the political, economic, and social issues can only be tackled through international global dialogue. I remain confident that adequate solutions will be found. And I look forward to seeing you in person at our next events, of course, next year in 2022, and if possible, before that. We will come back, the International Geneva will come back to a normal life as very soon, I hope. And until then, I extend my very best wishes to all of you, to your collaborators, to your family. And I wish you, even if it's a bit strange, a very healthy 2021. And a really happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Blaise. We really hope to be able to meet physically still this year. But as you know, everything is still open. Now I welcome Marc Pictet, who is the new president of the Fondation pour Genève, now since several months. He is already getting very much involved in all the project of the Foundation, and he's going to address you a few words. Marc.
Thank you, Raymond. Dear members of the Diplomatic Club of Geneva, on behalf of the board of the Fondation pour Genève, I wish you all a very happy and healthy 2021. I'm hopeful that this year will be prosperous and that we will finally put the pandemic behind us. Our foundation is proud and honored to support the Diplomatic Club of Geneva for over 10 years, as we share the same objectives, making La Genève Internationale as lively, dynamic, and impactful as possible. I would like to thank you, Raymond, and your committee for offering us each year a rich and varied program of activities with high-level conferences and, of course, excursions throughout Geneva and Switzerland that we all miss. We are all excited to participate in the 2021 program, which, despite the restrictions, looks very promising. The Fondation pour Genève is celebrating its 45th anniversary this year. We will continue to work alongside the federal and Geneva authorities to strengthen the tie between the Genève International and local actors. All our activities and initiatives are made possible thanks to the support of generous and loyal donors, such as multinational companies, Swiss banks, and numerous other patrons. As we heard, with a challenging year ahead, Genève International has more than ever a role to play in the search for solutions to address global issues. First and foremost, has been said, the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic and its devastating social consequences, but also such diverse topics as we know, climate change, migration, digitalization, and so on. For more than a century, Geneva has offered an environment fostering consultation and dialogue. I hope that the spirit of Geneva will continue to inspire us so that together we can reach by 2030 the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals requiring, it's good to remember, transformation of the financial, economic, and political system that govern our societies.
Thank you very much, Marc. It's also for me the opportunity to thank all the donors who are supporting us through the Fondation pour Genève. We are a private organization and we can count on this financial community to organize our event, to allow to create this huge network here in Geneva with diplomats, with academicians, with politicians, with businessmen. Thank this financial support and thank you again. Now I would like to give the floor to the mayor of Geneva, Sami Kanan. He's representing the authorities, meaning not only the city of Geneva, but also the canton and the confederation. Since we introduced this rule, one speech for all, to have less speech is an excellent rule. But I would just like to emphasize the importance to have the support of these authorities, which gives also to the club its credibility. It's very important, and we thank you also for this constant support. You're always there, you're always present, and we can, together with you, I think, play a real role of connecting the different world here in Geneva and enhancing also the importance of International Geneva. Sami Kanaan.
Thank you, President. Thank you, Raymond. Excellencies, dear members of the Diplomatic Club, dear friends. It's my great pleasure, but also a great honor for me to give you this address in the name, as has been said, of all levels of the Swiss authorities, the Swiss Confederation, the Canton of Geneva, and the City of Geneva, which is one sign among others of the commitment of all levels of the Swiss authorities to the fostering of International Geneva. We would have preferred by far meeting you lively here and having a drink together. It's not possible. We all go through a very difficult period, and in our various functions, we also are very keen about trying to find solutions to help the population, to help artists, to help businesses, to go through this very, very difficult period, not only in terms of health, obviously, it's a very, very dangerous virus, but also in terms of social, economic, and human consequences, which will last beyond the actual virus crisis. And International Geneva plays a very crucial role in this. We are very happy to see that the WHO is playing a crucial role with many other organizations, that it has been recognized again as a very crucial actor. And it's one example among many others how International Geneva, creating a space for multilateral discussions among all stakeholders from all parts of society across the planet, more than ever, can and should continue to give the space for discussion, for negotiation, for finding pragmatic solutions which really enhance the situation for everybody on this planet. So the Swiss authorities will continue to do the maximum to support International Geneva, to be present, to be available, because the challenges we face all together, climate change, migration, digitalization, and others, are very complex, and we need all of us together to match them. So I wish all of you, personally, your families, your relatives, and your colleagues, a very healthy and happy New Year, and we hope to see you in life again very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you again for your personal commitment to the International Geneva and to different international causes. We know that you are personally very much involved in it. And now we come to the last statement and speaker, to a personality who is giving to the International Geneva such a beautiful image, personification, not only of the UN, but also with a large vision of the future of multilateralism, but also with a human and warm touch. We know you now since several months, Mrs. Secretary, Director General, and we appreciate your involvement in the club, but also in Geneva, and we appreciate your vision, your way to present things, but also your incredible human touch. Please, you have the floor, Tatiana Valovaya.
Thank you very much. And first of all, I would like to wish all the members of the club, all your families, a very healthy and very happy New Year. You know, since the beginning of the pandemic, I was thinking about the words with which I addressed you a year ago. It was my first participation in New Year celebration, and I remember when I was addressing the audience in a normal way with a glass of wine in my hand, I said that it's going to be a very interesting and challenging year, because the year 2020 marks the beginning of a new cycle, 12-year cycle according to Chinese calendar. And I was really congratulating everybody that new cycle is going to start, and that we are looking to great challenges, but also to great positive changes. And of course, we should be always beware of our wishes coming true, because of course none of us could imagine that the new cycle will be equal to world pandemic. But I think if we really think about the situation, pandemic is really proving us that the new cycle, social, economic, human activities has started last year, and pandemic just showed us that we've been having challenges, global challenges before, climate change, migration, global mistrust, digital challenges, etc. We've been having all these global challenges. But apparently, we were not yet absolutely sure that these challenges are really existential challenges, that these challenges are really global challenges, and that we really need global solutions for these global challenges. So the year 2020 has proved that really all these challenges are global challenges, that we are living now in an absolutely different world, which is global world, and we really have to find solutions which will be good for everybody, that nobody will be left behind. And really the years last year opened a new cycle, and I hope that's going not to be the cycle of new challenges, but it will be a cycle of new solutions and multilateral solutions. And I think here in Geneva we are really in a very good position to participate in looking for these global solutions.
Thank you, Mrs. Valovaya. We'll come back to what you said with one question. We won't have a discussion tonight. I will just address a question to each of you. We keep in mind, and it's important that you all keep in mind that Geneva is the most important place of global governance in the world. And we have a real role to play internationally. But this pandemic showed that we need better international cooperation. This crisis shows also the limits and shortcomings of multilateralism, with many nations taking their own unilateral action to respond to this problem. So I think that the system, as it was conceived after the Second World War, no longer responds effectively to the challenge of the 21st century. And even the Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, called for a rethink of global governments and multilateralism. The web, for example, speaks about the Great Reset. And a new factor is that suddenly the US will be back in the game. So in this new context, the end of a cycle, the beginning of a new cycle, how can International Geneva adapt itself? How will the International Geneva of tomorrow look like? And what support can the authorities, the private sectors, and the civil society provide? These are some questions for you tonight. So, Mrs. Valovaya, you spoke about a new cycle of solution. What are they, these solutions for the future of International Geneva? How can the International Geneva and the multilateralism reinvent itself to better respond to these global challenges?
Well, Geneva is the cradle of modern multilateralism, which was born here with the League of Nations, and we celebrated last year the 100th anniversary of League of Nations, of the birth of modern multilateralism. But we also celebrated last year 75th anniversary of the United Nations. But celebrating is not the good word, because instead of celebrating, we had a global conversation launched by Secretary General, exactly global conversation, and we asked ordinary citizens all around the world what is the future they want and what are the United Nations they need. And really the answers showed that the majority of citizens, 90%, and millions of people participated in these multilateral discussions, and we had several multilateral dialogues here in Geneva, some in person, some already in virtual way, and the majority of people are saying we want more multilateralism, but we want modern multilateralism, as you said, fit for 21st century. Multilateralism where nation states are key players, but not the only players. We really need participation of all the actors in the international sphere, be these representatives of regions, of cities, of international supranational organizations, private sector, non-governmental organizations, young people, etc. And we really are thinking that this multilateralism should be inclusive and networking. And I think that Geneva can really be the cradle of this modern multilateralism. Just look at us. We are representing city, international organization, private sector, non-governmental organization. And we also have academia, we have expert society, we have young people. And I really see that the initiatives which were launched, for example, during 2020, I remember City Hub initiative launched by Mayor of Geneva. I remember initiatives launched by our non-governmental organizations on disarmament and peace, and many others. They really show that we can build this modern multilateralism, inclusive, and when we have all the actors working together, we can really find these new and global solutions.
It's exciting. we're looking forward. I had a question to Sami, Kanan. Of course, you already partially answered the question. My question was, how can the authorities even more support the International Geneva? But the Director General mentioned the role of the cities. And I think in the future, big cities like Geneva, but which is the smallest city of the biggest city in the world, how can the cities play an even active role, more active role in this promotion of the International Geneva and multilateralism, of course?
I think it's a very crucial aspect. As Director General said just before, we need a very inclusive multilateral system, also a multi-level. I mean, Switzerland can be an example, not that we do everything well, but with a federalistic system, we have the Swiss Confederation, which plays a crucial role for International Geneva in all aspects, diplomatically, financially, and in practical aspects. The canton, very important, and the city. And we really coordinate each other, the three together, to be as efficient as possible. And one of the dimensions that has been appearing in the last years is the role of cities in the widest sense. Cities, I mean, the urban areas. I mean, more than half of the population of the world lives now in cities, in urban areas, and the local governments are very close to day-to-day life of the people. So when we have issues about social inequality, jobless people, homeless people, climate issues very concrete in daily life, they have it as a first level. They hear it, they see it. So it's very important to listen to them. I mean, the states are still crucial, obviously, as the member states of the UN system, but to complement it with local voices. And also they are often very innovative in practical solutions. And so the cities have learned to work together, to exchange good practice, good ideas, but also to construct good ideas for the collective discussion. And that's why we launched the Geneva Cities Hub initiative to create a voice for the city issues within the whole system. And I thank you very much, Director General, to have recognized the importance of this issue, to have as inclusive and effective cooperation.
Thank you. Besides the city, of course, the corporate sector should play an active role. We have the Global Compact with its achievement and limitation. But do you think that the corporate sector, the business sector in Geneva should get more involved in supporting this multilateralism and supporting the International Geneva? As I said before, of course, they support us. They support initiative like the Club Diplomatique through the active role of the Fondation pour Genève. But don't you think they could even play in another dimension a role?
You know, I think that what's been done until yet is absolutely great. There was not that kind of dialogue 20 years ago. I mean, we wouldn't have organized such an event 20 years ago. So I think that we're making progress every day thanks to you, thanks to the club, because of your involvement, we are able to foster a real dialogue between the private and the public sector. And I'm very, very happy with that. Of course, you can imagine that you could be involved in a maybe more extensive manner. But it's not that so easy. The most important thing is to realize that the private sector, when we're talking about the private sector, we have different kinds of private sectors. We have the multinational sector, which is very important in this region. Remember that the public sector is one of the most important around the world, but it's the same for the multinational private sector. So what is unique is the capacity to bring these two actors together in a common dialogue. And that's something that we should always keep in mind and try to encourage as much as possible. We have the public dialogue, we have the private dialogue. When I'm talking about a private dialogue, it's because you need to talk to people aside from official conferences. It's fine to have meetings where you can gather with 300 people, but it's also important to meet them afterwards or before the meeting at the restaurant when it's open and to exchange. I can really witness that because I'm working with the International Labour Organization, I'm working with the International Organization of Employers, and this year what we experienced was the fact that we could follow a 300 people conference, of course, but that we could not be in interaction with people. And there was something really essential missing. So what I appreciate very much is being able to be in touch all the time with the people here in Geneva. We have the infrastructure, and the private sector, as you said, Mr. President, is really supporting the public sector, and it will continue. So though we can do more, but we do already a lot. The important thing is never to interrupt your action. We have to continue. And what has been done over the last year is really remarkable.
Thank you very much. We will try in the diplomatic club, in addition to the events, is to create the possibility for each and every members to get in touch directly with other members through an internal network and the possibility to connect directly with each other. So it will be an additional networking possibility we would like to implement this year. Another, and that's going to be the last dimension, which is important also to give a better status of the International Geneva here in the city, is the discussion and the dialogue with the civil society, with the people of Geneva, with the population of Geneva. That's one of the purpose also of the the Fondation pour Genève. Do you think, Marc, that we should even increase our activity in this sense, really to put together this international community with the Geneva civil society and to put it closer to the Geneva population? How could we do it even better? I know that there is a lot of things we're doing already, but we still think there is a certain separation or anxiety, reserve to be in touch together. How could we increase this contact, this direct contact?
That's a very good question. If the question is to what's the role really of local Geneva as opposed to international Geneva, if I understand your question correctly, I would say I see 5, maybe there are more, but I would name 5 avenues. The first one would be what local Geneva can bring is connecting. This is one. Communication, integration, education, and infrastructure, for sure. When it comes to connecting, to me, local Geneva should continue to provide various opportunities to interact with International Geneva, and tonight is a good example. But there are other examples, such as the Portail des Nations project, just to name another one. When it comes to communication, well, we have to inform, and that's your point, we have to inform the population on the essential work being done here in Geneva. To find solutions to global challenges. And Genevois and Genevoises, we ought to be proud of it. And this is certainly something that we need to work on. Third avenue I'd like to share with you tonight is the integration. And this is an example what we've been doing for the past 20 years when we started initiating and then supporting entities such as the club, but the other, such as International Geneva Welcome Center or the International Circle of Geneva. And it's also important to know that there are nearly 100 volunteers from the Foundation's network that are mobilized each year to help the members to integrate into Geneva's life. So this is another concrete input from local Geneva. And education plays a crucial role, it has been mentioned before, by providing a high-level academic platform for local and international candidates who one day may end up occupying leading functions in international organizations. And last but not least, it's dear to everybody, it's infrastructure. It is clear for everybody that you were talking about the importance of cities, but that every city must continuously invest to remain relevant, and that certainly applies to Geneva. Think of mobility, access, security, but also the environment. And in my opinion, to be precise, you know, the rapid rollout of the 5Gs is a concrete illustration when it comes to infrastructure. Because our future, as we all know, depends on connectivity. So because it's the beginning of the year, you know, we can still have wishes, And one of my wish would be maybe for Geneva to become a world-leading smart city.
Thank you, Marc. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, there is a lot of food for thoughts, and we will try during this year to deepen all these aspects in organizing events. And as long as we have to, we will be forced to do online event, webinars, and this kind of digital events. But of course, we're looking forward to meet you again physically as soon as possible. I hope still this year. We don't know, frankly. But in the meantime, first of all, I would like to thank you all tonight for participating to this modest New Year's Eve and diplomatic New Year's Eve event. I think it was important to keep us. And I would like to wish you once again all the best, and thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you very much.